Hey, yo, how's it going? It's Dean. And tonight we're gonna do some cooking. Do you want some great Greek food, but you don't live down the street from Greektown like we do here in Chicago? I'll tell you what, if you follow this recipe, you'll get as best as you can get without being in Greektown yourself. We're gonna start off with some chicken thighs. I got 3 pounds of chicken thighs here. And the thing you wanna do with these chicken thighs, you wanna make sure you pull them all the way open. Because those connective tissue, you want to make sure that all of the marinade that we're going to make is going to get in there. Pull these all open. You can trim the fat if you'd like, but remember, fat is flavor. When we roast these on the grill, all of these pieces of fat are going to break down and marinate with all of our flavors. So you can trim the fat, but make sure don't trim too much. The reason why we're using the chicken thighs instead of a chicken breast is because of that fat content. So once you get all of your chicken thighs all opened all the way up, you want to make sure that they lay flat. And then we can start right. We got all of our chicken in a bowl here. So now what we want to do is we're going to add the ingredients for the marinade. So we're going to go with some cumin, paprika. You can use smoked paprika if you have it. Give it a little bit of the different taste. Oregano. And then some salt. You can use sea salt, you can use table salt, whatever you like. Give that a little shake. Those are your dry ingredients. Then we're gonna take some Dijon mustard. And now you're saying, oh wait, Dijon's not Greek. Who cares? It's gonna act as a binder and it's not gonna affect the taste at all. We're gonna do a little bit of a squirt here. Get it in there. You can use American mustard if you want. Just don't tell anybody. So we got our mustard in there. The next thing we want to do is we're going to use some Greek yogurt in this recipe to help us with the binding and really circulate those flavors. So what I've got here is some 2% Faye Greek yogurt. You get it at your grocery store. You can use any of the brands that they have there. You just want to make sure you're using Greek yogurt because that fat that's in there and the way it's made is really going to help this marinade out. So give yourself 2 big heaping scoops. There we go, 2.5. And then I got my kitchen gloves on. You really want to get in there and work all of the ingredients together. Now, I know what you're saying. Dean, what are the measurements of the spices that you put in there? I need to know. Well, I'll tell you what. I didn't measure. We're not baking. Nobody cares. We're here for flavor. Honestly, you would have to use half the freaking container to have too much. So just make sure that everything's in there and we get it all mixed up so that all the dry ingredients are incorporated with all the wet ingredients. Give it a nice massage. We're gonna get everything in there. So what we got like this. This is what it looks like. See, it's all nice and mixed up. Then the best part about this is you get to stab stuff next. What I forgot to do before we stab stuff is you want to take some fresh garlic and you can use a cheese grater or I've got a zester here and we want to make sure that we zest in some of our garlic. Now you can use garlic powder. No one is going to judge you. That's the best thing about all of these ingredients is if you live down the street from the grocery store, you can get all of the stuff. If you don't, you use what you have. All of these ingredients, they can be changed out. The most important part is the yogurt because that is what is going to soften our chicken while it's marinating. So I've zested 4 cloves of garlic. I think this is number 5 into our mixture. And we've got it here. You want to make sure that it gets in the bowl. Run your fingers along. Get everything in there. And we'll mix this back up again. All right, now we got all that mixed up. We want to get 1 yellow onion and we're going to chop it in half. Now, we want to chop this so we take off the top and we take off the bottom. And we're going to chop this like we would not if we were going to do dicing. We're going to, where we would cut it this way. We're going to cut it actually in half because we want the roundness of the onion to help us out when we put it on our fancy spit. So the next part of this, as we get all of our onion paper off of our onion, because we don't want that in there. The next part of this, if you don't have a spit, you can buy one on Amazon. That's where I got mine. They make them big, they make them small. They come with this screwed on spiky part. They're fancy ones, they're not fancy ones. This is just a simple Winco spit. Take your onion half and put it right down there on the spit. Like I said, this is the fun part. Now we take all of our chicken that we have and we start stabbing it over the onion. And you want to alternate sides so that it covers the whole onion. Now, while you're doing this, you can start up the oven if you don't have a grill. And you want to make sure your oven's at about 450, 475, and get that going. You can also start your grill, but it's going to take a little minute for these chicken to marinate, so you can always wait. Now, I use 3 pounds of chicken, which is going to feed me and my wife for about 6 months. So make sure that you get enough for the family, because this is going to disappear. Now, we end with all of this here at the end. So now, what do we got? We got our chicken and onion on a spit. Look at that. It's all covered up and ready to go. Now, I put mine on a tray so that I can take it out to the grill. So we're going to let this sit here and marinate. You can wrap it up and put it in the fridge for about an hour if you'd like. If not, you can put it right onto your grill, or you can put it right in the oven. And again, if you don't have a spit, you can use a sheet pan. Just take that onion and chop it up, put the chicken on the sheet pan, put the onion on top of it, and throw it in the oven. Now, it's gonna cook a lot faster in the oven than it is on the spit, but what you're gonna look for is right when the chicken thighs start to brown on the edges. Make sure that it's cooked all the way through. Always use the thermometer. And you're looking at like 160 degrees Fahrenheit for your chicken, and it'll be ready to go. So we're gonna put this on the grill. While our chicken is either marinating or on the grill, I'm gonna show you how to make the tzatziki sauce that's gonna go perfect with all this chicken that we're doing. So again, we've got our Greek yogurt. We wanna make sure that we get the Greek stuff. You can do 2%, you can do full fat, you can do no fat, whatever you choose, but you wanna do the Greek yogurt because it has less water in it. You wanna have that good consistency. So we've got about 1.5 cups of Greek yogurt in there. And then we're gonna add some fresh dill. That's dried dill from our garden from last year. So you can use fresh or you can use dried. But what I'm saying is I took fresh dill and made it dried. We're gonna do some salt here, about 1.5 pinches of salt. And then we wanna put in our lemons. So we've got our lemon here. We use our lemon press, squeeze it in there. Now, I'm just gonna use a half a lemon to start with. Some fresh parsley. And then we're gonna go back to the grated garlic like we did earlier with the chicken. So, the best thing that I've found is that if you use garlic that is already peeled, you can get it in the grocery store and freeze it, which it's one of those rare, fresh ingredients that you can freeze and it's not gonna go bad when you take it out. If you freeze it, it makes it so much easier. It's great. The same thing when you're using like, you're making pasta and you wanna cut it up, makes it a lot easier to cut as well into the slices so that it'll melt right into your sauces. So we've got about 3 pieces of garlic grated up. Now, the next thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna tell you the secret. Everyone who does this for the first time cuts up their cucumber, throws it in there, mashes it all up, and then they say, I got liquid tzatziki, I don't know what to do. This is what we're gonna do, is we're gonna take our English cucumber and we're gonna cut off the sides here so that we get the skins with just a little bit of cucumber flesh on them. All right, and we take this, put this aside. And now we've got our cucumber skins here. And then we're gonna take these and we're gonna get them all sliced up. We're gonna get these nice and cut. Be careful while you're cutting these. You don't wanna chop off a finger. That's not really gonna add flavor to your tzatziki at all. But if you get these all rough chopped, and then we can start getting them down. Now you could buzz these up in a food processor if you wanted to, but we're gonna make our tzatziki just a little bit chunky, because that's how you know it's real. All right, so now we've got these all chopped up. We're gonna put these in here, all of our pieces, right? And then, here's the secret. Just take a little bit of your cucumber on that that garlic grater, and we can zest just a little bit of that cucumber right in there. And that way we're getting our cucumber juice, but we're not putting too many. And we've got all that flavor in there from the skins. Now we give this a nice mix. Incorporate all your ingredients and see what kind of consistency you got. What I've got here is it's nice and fluid, but it's not watery. So if for some reason it gets a little too watery for you, what you can do is you can add a little bit of yogurt into it. So make sure you save some in the beginning and then you can add it to it. Worst case scenario, it's not gonna taste bad if it's watery. Now the best thing you could do is if you make this the day before, it only gets better over time. So we've got this. I'm gonna cover it with plastic wrap and stick it in the fridge until we're ready to eat. All right, now we're out in the heat. We got ourselves a ripping hot grill over here. And we're gonna get the chicken on. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hold it by this spit here. I'm gonna pick it up off my pan. And I've got a cast iron pan that I keep on my grill. And that's gonna go right in there. And then we're just gonna close the top up and let it go. All right, this is what we're looking for our crust. We're at about 90 degrees internal. We want that to be 165. We're looking nice and charred up right now. I'm gonna take this red pepper here and throw it right here. And we're gonna get that nice and charred up too. And then we'll cut that up and put that on our chicken. All right, we got some nice char on our red pepper here. So we're gonna throw that on our tray. And we're all done here now. We've hit our 165 internal. I'm gonna carefully take this and put it on the tray. So we have our chicken off the grill. We're gonna let it rest a little bit. In the meantime, I'm gonna make a quick caprese salad. I've sliced some Roma tomatoes that aren't unfortunately from the garden just yet. But if you get this ball of mozzarella, fresh mozzarella, you should be able to get it at any grocery store. What we wanna do is put the tomatoes down on the plate. We're gonna salt our tomatoes. It's very important that you salt the tomatoes first. And then you can take these large slices and cut them up into quads. You're gonna take the mozzarella, put it on top of our tomatoes. This is gonna be great later in the summer when you have fresh tomatoes coming right off your garden. Our rooftop this year, we've got 3 different kinds of tomatoes, so I'm really looking forward to it. We've got the cheese down, and this is from the garden. We've got fresh basil. And what you wanna do is you wanna take the basil and you wanna tightly roll it up so that you can get what they call a chiffonade. And you just take little ribbons out of the basil, and that'll give you these nice ribbons. The thing about basil is it will bruise if you try to slice it normally. So you take these nice ribbons of basil and you're gonna wanna add it on top of your caprese, like so. You can put as much or as little as you want. And then we're gonna take a little balsamic vinegar and spread it on there. And we'll finish it with our olive oil. got some splashes from our vinegar, so we want to clean off our plate so it's ready for presentation. And there we go with our caprese salad. Now that we've let our chicken rest, we've got some cooked rice here. We're going to add some olive oil to the cooked rice. And then some of that leftover dried dill from our garden last year, we're going to add to the rice on top of the olive oil. Give it a quick stir. And then we got our dill rice. Now, I've used basmati rice, which is more of a traditional rice that they would use in Greek cooking, but you can use regular rice. Doesn't matter. We get some nice flavors here. All right, we're gonna be carving this chicken up. So I'm gonna take this chicken off the spit. We've got a nice Nakiri knife here. See how the char that we have going on here? We're just gonna take this and it's gonna cut right through it. Look at that chicken coming right off the spit here. We've got all of that flavor built in. You give it nice, healthy slices off the spit. And remember, we've got that onion at the bottom, so that onion is roasted with all of the chicken juices over the last 2.5 hours or so that we've had it on the grill. We've got our little friend here at my feet, wanting a piece of chicken. She'll have to wait. So once we get that all off the spit, all of that good crispy chicken, clean that off. And then we've got this red pepper. So we want to cut the end off, but just enough here so that we can take out our seeds. Because we don't want our seeds in our food here, but we want to make sure that we keep that char in. So now we've got a nice floppy red pepper that's all charred up. We'll slice it lengthwise. That is ready to go. We're going to start with some rice on the plate here. Then we're going to go ahead and give our chicken and onion roasted a nice chop through. You've got some crispy pieces from the outside, and you've got the nice roasted pieces from the inside. So you want to make sure when you plate this that you get a little bit of everything. Take a nice healthy stack, put it right here over our rice. Take some slices of our red pepper. Look at that. We're almost done here. Remember earlier we made our tzatziki sauce, and that has been sitting in the fridge where all the flavors are coming together. We were a little worried that it might have been a little too liquidy, but over time it's thickened up a little bit. So we're gonna put this right to the side here, just off of our chicken. We'll finish it with a little parsley. We're ready to eat. That is Greek chicken. I hope you enjoy.